We're live. Okay, we're live. This is an open meeting. I call this special meeting of the West Virginia Democratic Party Board of Appeals to order. As a reminder, this meeting is being streamed live on the West Virginia Democrats YouTube channel. Now, since our last meeting, one of our board members unfortunately had to resign. It's Kelly Elkins, and I'd like to thank Kelly. She's not here today, but I thank Kelly for her service to this board over the last year. And I've since appointed Pam Klein to the board. Pam is an officer of the state executive committee. She is the co-chair of the Congressional District 1. She's also the chair, I believe, of the Nicholas County Democrats, the Democratic Executive Committee in Nicholas County, and has done a lot of great work building the Democratic Party in Nicholas County and across the state. Pam has agreed to serve on this committee, and I know she will be a great asset to our work. And welcome aboard, Pam.
Thank you very much.
So with that, I'm going to go ahead and call the roll to establish a quorum. David Thompson.
Here.
Susan Miley.
Here.
Pam Klein.
Here.
And I am here. We have a quorum. We'll start with our update to the rules of procedure. Following the last state executive committee meeting, I asked the Rules and Bylaws Committee to draft rules of procedure for this committee. We have been following the rules of procedures that were in place when we began our terms, and they were lacking in many areas that we found, notably that witnesses were not allowed to be called. Our Rules and Bylaws Committee met and came up with a draft for our consideration. The model that they started with is the process that the DNC uses for challenges. There were edits made, however, the process closely parallels the DNC's challenge process. I want to thank the Rules and Bylaws Committee for their time and attention to this issue. You all have been given a copy of the draft, and I have offered some edits that will be shown in the draft when we share the screen. We will take as much time as we need to discuss getting attacked here. We'll take as much time as we need to discuss the document and make edits before we move to adopt the document. Ryan, please share the draft rules on the screen. And I'll open this up now for discussion and edits. And what I'd like to do is make edits by general agreement and adopt the final document once we've agreed on the changes. However, if there's a disagreement on an edit, we will vote on it. And I don't see it. Anybody else see it? Nope.
Just give me 1 second.
Okay. Okay, I'll briefly read through it, and is the highlighted parts what we've changed? Is that correct? All right. Okay. The grieving parties must be registered Democrats who reside in West Virginia. That's for standing. The grievances shall identify the responding parties. Now, the West Virginia State Democratic Executive Committee may intervene as a matter of right in any grievance proceeding with the purpose of protecting any interest the West Virginia State Democratic Executive Committee may have with respect to the proceeding by sending a letter to the chair of the Board of Appeals and all parties. Scroll up. Thank you. Filing and service of documents and computation of time. Let's see where we go here.
Mr. Chair, if you'd like me to jump to the areas of significance where we did make some changes, I could do that.
Well, since we are streaming and it's an open meeting, I figured I'd go. Should I go? Should we go through the whole thing?
At your discretion.
Let's see how many pages we have here.
Five.
Okay. I'll go through it quickly. All documents be considered in the processing of any grievance shall be filed. Okay, I thought we changed that part.
We took, in this part, we took around off hand delivery.
Okay. Okay. All documents to be considered in the processing of any grievance shall be filed by an overnight delivery service, certified mail, return receipt requested, electronic mail with delivery confirmation, and to our address there. And there's our email address. Filing shall be deemed complete upon receipt. All grievances must be filed within 30 calendar days of the event leading to the grievance. Any documents filed, any proceeding pursuant to these rules shall be served at the same time by the filing party upon all other parties of the proceeding. Service shall be made by an overnight delivery service, certified mail, email to each party or other representative authorized to receive documents on their behalf, agent of record. Any document filed pursuant to these rules shall be accompanied by a certificate of service signed by the filing party or by their attorney, if any, or agent of record. Service shall be deemed complete in the case of service by an overnight delivery service or by certified mail on the first business day on which delivery is attempted. Failure to supply a certificate of service may be cured by providing a certificate of service. Okay, this is the let's skip ahead basically and get to what was and we can make this available to the executive committee and of course to the board, any of these rules. And of course it's an update to our bylaws, so it would have to be voted on, I guess, at the next executive committee, correct?
I don't believe so. I believe these are rules of the board adopted by the board.
Okay. All right, this is what should be included in the grievance. That all stayed the same from the draft and matches the DNC, correct?
Pardon me, I'm
Scroll
sorry.
up. That's what's to be included in the grievance. Okay, here's a part. The response shall include the following in separately numbered paragraphs. Within 14 calendar days after service or on a date otherwise specified by the Board of Appeals, each responding party shall file a written answer, including the following: name, address, email address, and telephone number of each of the responding party. A response to the grievance admitting or denying each statement therein or stating that the responding party is without sufficient information to admit or deny. A response to a statement shall fairly meet its substance, admitting those parties that are true and denying those, I'm sorry, admitting those parts that are true and denying those parts that are false. A plain, concise, and specific statement of each and every defense to the alleged violations. A plain, concise, and specific statement of any other reasons why the responding party should prevail. Okay, so that's for the response. The response shall be accompanied by the following documents. It's self-explanatory. And responding parties may consolidate their answers. Upon receipt of the grievance and the response, the executive director shall forward the challenge and answer to the Board of Appeals for review. The Board of Appeals may dismiss any grievance or part of a grievance in the event that, and here's a list of what could warrant a dismissal. Any dismissal shall be accompanied by a written opinion of the Board of Appeals. The Board of Appeals shall have the authority to make a decision on the pleadings where it is plain from the grievance and the answer, together with documents accompanying those pleadings, and that there is no genuine issue of material fact between the parties. Any decision on the pleadings shall be accompanied by a written opinion of the Board of Appeals. All right. This is new pre-hearing conference. The Board of Appeals may call for a pre-hearing conference of the parties. At such conference, the Board of Appeals will make every reasonable effort to facilitate settlement of the grievance and discuss the scope and procedures to be followed at the hearing, and may request a final list of witnesses, a final list of documents, and a stipulation of the parties to any issue not in dispute. And the next is how the hearing will be held. That's the procedure for the hearing.
Yes.
Okay, skip ahead. and we are sticking with 15 minutes. So once the evidence is given, each party would have generally not to exceed 15 minutes of time to make their argument.
Mr. Chair, if I would point out, under the hearing number 12, that's a significant
Okay, the Board of Appeals shall make and file a written decision. Okay, so this puts it in our policy that there will be a written decision from the Board of Appeals within 30 calendar days of the completion of the hearing or the receipt of the last brief filed, whichever comes later. Which report shall include findings of fact, conclusions of law to include party rules, and a disposition of the grievance. The report shall be served on all parties to the grievance and shall be reported to the state executive committee at the next regular meeting and shall be made available to the public upon request. Okay, that is the change that was requested during our last executive committee meeting. I think it was the last meeting. And so I thank the Rules and Bylaws Committee for taking that request seriously and putting it into writing into our policy of how the executive committee would be notified of any Board of Appeals action. And all decisions made by the Board of Appeals with respect to any issue pertaining to a grievance must be made by a vote in a public meeting. That's no change. It's always been a public meeting. Okay. And anything else that's in here that's a change to current policy?
I would just point out that earlier, this is a significant change, the dismissal and decision on the pleadings. This provides the board the ability to review the grievance and the respondents' documentation and make decisions, which would again be in a public meeting. But it allows for the board to make these different things listed here, in which the board may decide that there is no need for a hearing.
Okay.
And it can be done in whole or in part. So parts of grievances can be dismissed or ruled upon in this way. That's a significant change. And then, as you mentioned, the pre-hearing conference is a significant change to allow the board and the parties to come together as a means of essentially settlement or moving beyond without having to go through the full hearing process.
Okay. All right. Has everybody had a chance to review these updated rules of procedure for grievances?
Yes.
Are there any proposed amendments?
Part is also important. The appeals part.
Okay.
Where of course, according to the bylaws, any decision can be appealed to the full West Virginia State Democratic Executive Committee. And also this adds that 30 calendar days after service of notice, the aggrieved party may file a petition for appeal with the State Democratic Executive Committee.
Okay. So instead of just waiting for the next meeting where a motion could be made, this would allow for a formal petition.
Correct.
Of course, the motion couldn't be made until the next executive committee meeting, but we would at least have that petition. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Are there any amendments?
No, I don't have any.
No.
Any discussion?
Looks good to me.
All right. All right. Now,
Very
thank
good.
you very much, Ryan. Thanks for putting that together. And again, if any of them are watching, and thanks to the Rules and Bylaws Committee for the draft. So there were some edits made to the draft. Other than that, it's pretty good and fairly close to what the DNC uses. So now I'd like to ask for a motion to adopt the rules of procedure as presented on the screen and in our document, and to allow staff to make any typographical formatting or non-substantive edits as needed.
So moved.
Okay, I think was it David moved and Susan seconded?
Sounds good.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. The rules are adopted. Thank you very much. And we will get that out to to the executive committee. And to anyone else that needs to see it, it'll be made public. But as you know, we do have a grievance before us. And in fairness to both the grievant and respondent, we will send these rules of procedure to both of them, and we will follow these rules as we move forward with the grievance. Now, should we set the date now for that grievance that's coming up? We had so it was Friday, the 16th of February, and I believe we said 2:00.
That works.
Okay.
Works for me too.
All right, we will get that notification out to the grievant and respondent Friday. So our next meeting will be Friday, the 16th at 2:00 to take up the grievance from Jared Powell. And one real quick, also wanted to give you a quick update on the Federation of Democratic Women. Sent a letter to the President Pam Van Horn on January 18th after our last hearing, asking for an update on the ruling from January 2nd of last year that the Federation adopt rules to provide for greater transparency and openness regarding open meeting rules for recognized organizations of both the national and state party, and report back to the Board of Appeals. We asked for a response by January 25th. We did not receive the response, so we sent another request on February 1st. On February 2nd, we received an email from President Van Horn, and I will make sure everybody on the committee receives a copy of that correspondence. And is there any other business come before the committee? Okay. I've got a dentist appointment, so I hope everybody has a great day. I'll see you Friday the 16th. The agenda is complete, and I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.